Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, October 11th, 2024. Welcome to another eBay video. I have a lot of good topics I want to discuss tonight. I'm not sure I'll be able to get to all of them, but here's what I'm going to try and get to. Number one, sellers who are grossly overcharging for shipping. And I do mean grossly. Number two, I want to continue with the discussion from the other night about buyers who cannot read in eBay Motors. I also want to talk about the problems of selling in the category for parts and not working. If I have time, I will talk a little bit about getting negative feedback removed. In last week's video, I told you a story about how I got an unfair negative feedback from somebody over 75 years old. I'd like to talk to you about that in detail if I have time. If not, I'll make a separate video for that. But let's get started. This has been an absolutely insane week. Absolutely insane. One of the favorite comments I love to read when I read your comments after I make a video is those of you guys that say something like, Joe, thank God I don't sell in eBay Motors. I could never put up with the screwballs that you put up with. It is bad as I've ever seen it. Each week I think it can't get any worse, and each week I'm proved wrong. This was a tough week. And I'm going to start right off by going to our one and only cutaway. In the cutaway, I'm going to deal with the following topics. One, an update on that buyer the other day I told you that couldn't read or purposely didn't want to read and bought the wrong items. I'm also going to talk about connivers and people who have no intention of paying for your item, and a troublesome thing that's very easy to spot so you can avoid them. And I'm going to talk about sellers who are grossly attempting to rip buyers off with their unreasonable shipping costs. All right, let's get to the cutaway, then we'll come back and we'll really get into a discussion. Okay, guys, it's time for the ever popular cutaway segment, in which I'm going to show you some updates and some interesting things that happened to me this week on eBay that are going to make you shake your head in disbelief and probably ask yourself, why isn't Joe heading for the Brooklyn Bridge to do a swan dive? The first thing I want to remind you about is what we talked about on Monday. I had this set of 2006 to 2011 Lincoln MKZ center caps, and the person with zero feedback entered their vehicle as a 2005 Lincoln Town Car, which is not even close. These things are physically not going to fit, and I told you last week there's no way I'm sending them out. I called eBay concierge, showed them all the information, and the representative agreed that I should not send them out and that I should click on problem with the buyer's address, which is what I did. Keep in mind, I had messaged him earlier that day and he never got back to me, which didn't surprise me because he has zero feedback and probably doesn't have a clue as to what's going on. Okay? Now, the next day after I canceled it, I want to show you what he wrote to me. Right here. Here's the original message that I wrote to him. I'm curious as to why you entered the fact that you're driving a Lincoln Town Car in the vehicle description, because there is no way these will fit a Lincoln Town Car. Absolutely no way. And what does he write back to me? Good morning. Do you have any that will fit a 2005 Town Car? Doesn't even mention the fact that he bought the wrong item and he caused me kinds of issues. Nothing. I wrote back to him, I am absolutely amazed that you would have purchased these caps when it distinctly says they will only fit the MKZ model and not the Town Car. There's also no way in hell I would sell this guy anything, okay? I'm not taking a chance again. And plus, If another seller did have what he needs, they're going to cost more than $81 for a set of 4 in mint condition. I can guarantee you that. I blocked him. I don't want him buying from me because he doesn't know how to read. So you probably think, well, Joe, it only happens occasionally, right? What are the odds of it happening several times a week to you? Well, guys, the odds are very good. Here, as you can see, I sold factory 2009 to 2019 Ford Escape Edge Flex center caps. What does the buyer have? A 2016 Ford Taurus. I have to show you these screenshots because I could not make this up, and I don't think you would believe it if I didn't show you these screenshots. This is the second one this week that is jerking me around, okay? The only good thing, if I can use the word good, is that this one's only $18, okay? We're not done yet. The weirdest one's coming out next. What happened is, I have this set of hubs for $90 plus $35 shipping. I have best offer on all my items, and this person writes to me and says, could you do $100 on these, including shipping? That always sends up red flags because I have best offer and he should enter the offer that way. I wrote back, I have a question for you. I have the best offer option enabled on all my listings, including this one. So I'm wondering why you didn't make the offer that way. And he wrote back, I did not want to hook my payment automatically. What does that tell you? A flake. So I wrote back, that's why I don't think you're a serious buyer. And I blocked him as well. Can you imagine that? He doesn't want to hook up his payment automatically. That tells me, and I'm sure it tells you, that he has been a deadbeat bidder many times in the past. Well, he's not going to be a deadbeat bidder with Cute Joey, because Cute Joey don't roll that way. Okay? Next item is something a little different that made me shake my head in disbelief. Excuse me. I buy stuff on eBay to resell locally where I think I can make money. So the other night I came across these 4 Cadillac wire wheels here with the locks, the key, and the starting bid on the auction was $80. Now I would gladly give this guy $80 for these. Okay? I want you to guess how much money he's charging in shipping from Massachusetts to New Jersey. Don't guess yet. No, shut up. Let me give you some hints. Number 1, it would cost me, the most it would cost me, going with UPS in, let's just say, a 17 by 17 by 9-inch box, fully packed, ready to rock, maybe tops, and I'm really pushing this, $30. Okay, maybe not even that. It would cost me, if I shipped them out to California, it would cost more, maybe 40, 45 bucks. Okay, that's fair. You know, that's what it's going to cost. Now, I ask again. I'm going to stop the video if I don't hear people yelling out numbers. How much do you think this guy has the balls to ask for shipping? And I'll give you one more clue. It's a new world's record for me. I've never seen anything like this, and there's no way that he entered this amount by accident. You can shout out your amounts now. Well, some of you were close, but nobody got it right. The correct answer is, are you ready? Look at the screen. $285 priority mail. This guy is out of his mind and has singly attained the world's record for the most unreasonable shipping on eBay in my 25-year career. Now, don't say that it's eBay's shipping calculator, because I have a friend that lives in New England, and I sent him the link and I told him to see what it said for him, and he got the exact same amount. I don't know if this particular person thinks he's avoiding eBay fees by doing this. It's absolutely terrible to do something like that. Don't try and figure out who it is. You'll see that I took great pains to hide all the information, although I had to leave the general location just to prove it to you that this guy's out of his mind. Out of his mind. Anyhow, let's get back to the video. Okay, if I did a good job with my presentation, right now you guys are shaking your head in disbelief, wondering how I don't make a beeline for the Brooklyn Bridge into a swan dive. Okay? Because it's that bad. It especially pisses me off when buyers don't read all the information that I've entered. It takes a lot of time and work to fill out the compatibility feature the correct way. Believe me, it's time consuming, but I don't mind doing it if it's going to ensure that the person is getting the right part. But when they actually willfully disregard the information that I'm inputting, even in the title, well, yeah, I get pissed. People have been asking me if I get pissed when they do that, and until now I really haven't had an answer, but yeah, I'm thinking I get pissed. So there's that. The other thing I covered was the eBay conniver. The guy who offered me a price in messages, knowing full well that A, it's not binding, and B, he has no intention of paying for the item. None whatsoever. Do you know this has been happening a long time? I'm willing to bet, I put money out there right now, that that particular buyer, among others, has a history of not paying for items when they sent in best offers, and now they're being called out on the carpet about it. They don't want to be responsible. They don't want to put their information in. Well, you saw what I said to him, and I blocked him, and I'm a better man for it. As far as the buyer grossly overcharging on the shipping, there's only two possibilities. I see only two. Number one, the seller is trying to circumvent eBay fees by inflating the shipping to almost 10 times what it should be. That's usury. All right? That's usury. Number two, there's also a chance, and a decent chance, that this particular seller is 175 years old, and I'm saying that only because of that particular car that he listed there, the Cadillac. The 86 to 92 Brougham is a notorious old person's car, all right? I have no problem saying that on camera. I like the car myself, but almost everyone that has it bought it brand new back in the day. And yeah, so it's possible the guy is just so out of touch with reality that he entered in $285, but man, I don't know which is worse, trying to circumvent eBay fees or being that far out of touch with reality. Both are quite concerning if you ask me. All right, enough about that. Let's talk a little bit about selling in the parts and not working category. How many of you guys watching this video, by a show of hands, have sold in the for parts not working category? Quite a few of you, just like I said. Now, here's the important question. How many of you guys who just raised your hand experienced a problem whereas the buyer returned the item saying it wasn't working? Okay? You may remember about 4 months ago, I did a video. I exposed one of these bad buyers. I showed you how I sold a cheap center cap with broken clips for about $10. And I even had in the title, broken clips. And he filed an item not as described against me. I had to pay the shipping back. But when I got it back, I think I deducted the shipping. However, the buyer left me negative feedback. Okay, remember? I showed it to you. Thankfully, eBay removed it. But up till now, when a buyer would return something and lie like a rug, eBay would always side with the buyer, even if you said it's for parts and not working. If you sold a blue sweater with the top button missing, and the guy opens an item not as described case and says, hey, the top button's missing. All right? You are going to be stung as the seller. But I heard something very interesting in one of the Facebook groups the other day. A person sold an older model radio with a built-in cassette player. You know the kind that was big in the 70s and 80s, where you put the cassette in and you push the door down? All right. He sold it in the for parts not working category and clearly said tape player does not play. The seller did everything right. The buyer gets it, files an item not as described claim, and in the love note writes, tape player does not play. Now, all right, it's showing up as going against the seller, even though the seller did nothing wrong. So the seller was smart, this guy. He contacted concierge, showed them the messages, and concierge closed out the case in the favor of the seller. No money back. In the favor of the seller, because he clearly did say the tape player did not work. Now, I myself have not had this experience. All right, I don't sell that often in the for parts and not working category, but I do occasionally, and I don't mind selling in it as long as the person can pull a fast one. In the past, they've been able to. You know they've been able to. Let's hope that eBay is finally cracking down and is going to do something about this. I had something very weird happen the other night that's never happened to me before, and it's concerning. A person sent me an offer of $8 on an item that's approximately $18. eBay told me I'd be paid right away, but as you know, anytime they offer me 50% or less of my asking price, I automatically decline, which I did. The item was a dog item too. I mean, I wouldn't mind giving the guy a break, but out of principle, I will not sell it for 50% or less. A few minutes later, he comes back and he offers me, I think, $11. Now he's over the 50% mark. It's a dog item, and eBay says I'll be paid right away. What have I got to lose, right? I click accept. Okay? I go, I get the item, and I box it up. Takes me a few minutes, and payment still hasn't arrived. All right. Well, no big deal. Sometimes they get hung up for an hour. I mean, the guy's got to have $11 on his credit card, plus shipping. All right? 24 hours go by, no payment. So I go back into my seller hub, and I check under awaiting payment, and it shows 0. I go back into my listing itself, and that item is still on the shelf. There is no record that it ever sold to this person. How could this have happened? Let me go over the details again. eBay told me I'd be paid right away. They did not tell me I'd be paid in 4 days if I accepted the offer. But even if it had said that, it would still show up as waiting to be paid. There is no record that this item ever sold, even though I did accept the $11 offer and I was promised immediate payment. It is a freaking mystery to me, and I do not have the answer. Yeah, weird, huh? Like I said, it's been a really rough week on eBay, and sales have not been that good. I've had a few days that were okay, but most of them were slow. I sure hope you guys are doing better. I read all your comments on both my videos, my last Friday video and then the one I put out Monday night regarding buyers that can't read. And I enjoy reading your comments, and most of you guys are spot on with your thinking. But yeah, I would love to hear your comments, questions, and concerns about any of the topics that I've brought up today. Put them below. I will read them, and it will give me some fodder to work off next week. I did not get into the negative feedback removal because it's getting after the 20-minute mark. I don't like to keep you guys too long. I'll have to talk about that next week, or maybe even earlier if I put out another video. But it's very interesting how that came about. I think you'll enjoy the story. And I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not. Thank you for watching. Hope you make a lot of eBay sales this week. Rock on, and peace.